Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. It is day 43 in the 100-day project. Now I'm taping this at night, so it's pitch black outside, and I've got 3 different lights on, including plus the overhead ones. So I really hope this improves the lighting and shadow situation, because I'd hate to think that I'm getting a tan from all this lighting, and it's not really improving your experience. So perhaps you can let me know in the comments. This project is one of those fun ones. It's not new. The person that I saw do it probably first was Tanya from Tatty Treasures. And basically, and I don't know, I didn't rewatch the video. Maybe I'm doing mine a bit differently. Excuse me. I think hers were pretty linear, and the whole idea is to use up scraps. So, of course, I started doing some last night, and basically just using the things that are on my desk. So you're going to see repeating elements probably. And as always, sort of in color families. So basically this is what I came up with and thoroughly enjoyed myself, because that's that many fewer things kicking around on the desk. I don't know that there's any real value in, hand lotion, any real value in telling you what some of these things are, because chances are you've got, guaranteed you've got different things at your disposal. I will point out that these initials are stickers, and I sort of just, hit them with the brush, the vintage photo brush, just to knock back the white a bit. So there are some digitals. This piece of paper here is part of a really old spine, and of course I couldn't throw it away. This plummy color here is part of a file folder. This is a chipboard that I, remove the layers from. This is some really old wallpaper. Same wallpaper here. This is off a tea bag. And this is also really old wallpaper that you will have seen if you saw yesterday's video. And this is wallpaper as well. Anyway, enough about that. So what I did before turning on the camera was I gathered up some papers. I kind of grouped them in color families or by type. So we'll just plunge right in. I also, if it was digitals, like I've got some of these. These are my photos. I have a padlock collection, and so I just removed the white strip around the edge and that kind of thing, just to have be a little more prepared. Well, let's do one thing at a time. So basically, I am just going to start gluing. Now this was a scented drawer paper, and I like it because it, there's something to be said about, this sort of a graphic thing. But I had also stamped on it just to add a bit more interest. Now I'm going to aim to have these things about, I don't know, maybe 6 inches or so at the longest point. I turn 1 scrap into 3. That's how we do it. So So basically, I just have a few things that are sort of related. I love this stamp, and I would say that's probably Rusty Hinge that I use there. This is another thing that is sort of related. This is some sort of, well, it's paper or tape. I don't know, maybe it was tape. This side is matte, this side is a bit slippery and shinier. So let me begin. Of course, it's a bit harder doing this with an audience because, of course, I don't want dead air, so I keep talking and hopefully saying something that is either interesting or useful to you. I also feel like I can't really maybe take as much time deciding on something as I would if I didn't have somebody waiting. Now I don't know how wide, say Tanya's for instance, would end up being. I don't, where did I put those samples? Oh, right here. Let's just maybe this one. This one is maybe the widest. So it's about 2 1/4 inches. So on a 5.5 inch wide page, you know, you don't want to go much wider than that, I don't think. So when I'm doing it, I'm trying to find something that is pleasing to look at. I'm also trying not to have any really straight edges. That probably is better left for another thing. And again, I don't know that there's a magic number of layers. I didn't bother taking the time to, you know, reconstruct or tally up how many I used on the ones that I did yesterday. But I think that for sure there's probably some variation between them. You know, so I'd probably do something like that and call it done. So maybe I will just quickly grab a glue sheet here. And do some gluing. Now I think, oh yeah, yesterday I used art glitter glue. Maybe just for, you know, the glue is pricey, but it also goes a long way, and it will certainly be a lot quicker. So basically I'm going to just apply a thin bead of glue there. You know, kind of trying to keep things relatively straight. It's not going to appear very straight, very regular, because the papers are not, you know, cut perfectly. They're torn. I think that has an up and a down. You know, one of the hardest things to get used to when collaging is the idea that, you know, we spend a lot of time hand selecting what to use, and then we cover them up. So I think I'm just going to make this a bit narrower just to get rid of that white edge, because of course the way you cut it determines how much of that will like whether it'll be a colored edge or a white edge. Sometimes I very deliberately use the white edge if I'm after a particular look. think I'm going to rip this little gold strip off, again, to have an irregular edge and to just make it a bit narrower. And maybe I'll just have a smidge of the lace showing, or the, not lace, but you know, digital of lace. So if you've been crafting a while, working with paper a while, I'm sure you too are probably drowning in paper. And this is a good way to use up some of the bits. Set that aside. Maybe what I'll do is just try to, oh, here's something nice too. This is a piece of wallpaper that I trimmed off. It was probably just a border. So I have these things out. I do want to use this. So I'll do another one, and then maybe I'll just go on to other color combinations just to change it up a bit here. And of course, you know, once you decide where to use the project, I should move my little basket for garbage over here, and then I wouldn't have to keep crossing in front of the camera. Once you decide where the thing will be used, it's a good idea to, I mean, the possibilities exist for adding more decoration at the last moment. Okay, how close is that? Not really, but that's okay. I have a bit of this left. I might just want to use this instead. Or I can have a smidge of this showing. Don't want the square top. I was, of course, I've taped several videos today, and I think I was talking in one of the earlier ones about some of the stuff that you know, kind of went on, and, you know, kind of one of those days type thing. One thing I didn't say was that yesterday, which would have been Sunday, I was chewing on a sticky candy, which was probably a no-no. And I don't know about you, but I tend to favor one side of my mouth more than the other in terms of, you know, where I go to, or which side, excuse me, which side I use for chewing. So all of a sudden, I've got this something very hard in my mouth. And so I fish it out, and it's part of my tooth. Now, I guess I was surprised, but I shouldn't have been, because I had part of that tooth break out a few weeks ago. And I'd been to the dentist. Luckily, it wasn't heat or cold sensitive, so that was a blessing. But it had kind of a jagged edge. And of course, even though, you know how a tongue wants to explore and find something that it shouldn't be looking for, my tongue, just from even, you know, I wasn't poking around in there with it, but just because the break was on the inside of my teeth as opposed to the cheek side. My tongue was taking a beating just from, you know, kind of the back and forth of talking and chewing and so on. So he shaved or grounded down or whatever he did just to make it, you know, like, let's not cause another problem. And basically away I went. And they were going to look for, you know, pre-authorization from the insurance company to approve it before I said A or nay. Anyway, so not surprising that that tooth broke, another piece broke off. And it's a molar and it's, you know, far back and, well, I guess that's where all molars are. Anyway, it's, you know, maybe second from the back or something like that. And it is, that might be a splash of color. You know, okay, I grew up in the time of, you know, kids sort of having a lot of cavities. Fluoridated water hadn't really been invented yet, or it wasn't widely used. You know, blah, blah, blah. So people of a certain vintage tend to have a lot more fillings than many of today's kids, or say my grandchildren. Anyway, so I'm kind of shocked and dismayed. Oh, the first time the tooth broke, when I called the dentist the next morning, I said, and I swallowed the evidence. This time, of course, I kept the evidence. And then sometime later, innocently, you know, just sitting there, wasn't eating or anything. Maybe I was grinding my teeth during the hockey playoffs. Another piece broke off, and I'm thinking, holy cow, this is getting kind of much. You know, obviously the less tooth and filling that are there, the greater the chances that I will start having heat and cold sensitivity. I was wondering why it was taking the insurance company so long to rule on this decision and approve the quote. Oh, I should say, or I don't know, did I say that the remedy is a crown? Now, up until earlier this year, I thought a crown was something that Queen Elizabeth wore. Never had any kind of those kind of issues. You know, needing kind of expensive, invasive dentistry like that. So now, well, bright and early tomorrow morning, I have to drive in and get an appointment because I didn't want to wait another week or so. As it is, it's a 2-part appointment. The first one is the longer, the more intensive one, about an hour and a half, because of course they prep the area and then they take that impression. And then a week later, the crown is ready and you come back and then they basically slap it into place. So that is what is on the agenda for me tomorrow, bright and early. Typically, I don't like to take really early appointments because, you know, I'm an hour and a half away, so. And I particularly don't want to do that in, you know, say in winter when it's dark and the roads could be bad or I could be drifted in or whatever. So I'm just going to set this stuff aside and pick another color to work on. Well, let's try this. I have various, cover this up. Ledger paper in various stages of whatever. Oh, this is not. This is from another piece of paper, but similar color. This is ledger. quite modern, I think 70s, if you can count 50 years ago. And you can see that when I had my Temu order, I tried out a lot of the stencils on here. So this has been tea dyed. This is, I don't know what this is, but it's certainly more grungy looking. So let's see what we can do here. Could make this work. Oh, that's nice too. Have a couple of those. Okay, let's get to work here. So because I intend to use this piece of cardstock, I will tear some of this off. You know, trying to keep as much of the stamping intact as possible. No, unfortunately, there's, excuse me, very little of the writing on this particular piece, but that's I probably did that on purpose. Maybe we'll just have a sliver of that showing. Again, I don't like those sort of right angles and so, yeah, I don't really relish that appointment. Number one, it'll be early. I'll be having to get up early. And it is, like I said, about an hour and a half long. And, of course, it's that, you know, grinding and that. To me, it always sounds like they're using carpentry tools. I say, oh, you're bringing out the angle grinder now? Like, I don't know, my perverse sense of humor, I guess. And one of the things, I don't know about you, but one of the things that is so obnoxious is that smell of the drilling. Like, I think it's maybe when they're drilling through the filling. Or maybe, I don't know. Or I think I asked him last time, is that what stinks? Is it the filling or is it the enamel? I don't know if he answered. I mean, he obviously answered, but clearly I wasn't paying attention to the answer, because in one ear and out the other. Maybe this one with less would be nicer. Less what, you may ask? Less of the pink and more of the creamy color. The other thing that is an issue, and I'm not going to get into that long and sordid story, is I cannot tolerate having my head lower than my body for any length of time. Like it plays havoc with my head. So you know, obviously with those reclining dental chairs, they can pretty well have your head near the floor and the rest of you up in the air, and it's, you know, it's handy dandy for the guy doing the work. But and I'm not unreasonable. I do understand that. In fact, I said that to him last time. I said, I realize you want to be able to see what you're doing, and I want you to be able to see what you're doing. But the reality is that if my head is down too long, we're all going to have a problem here. So I think he sort of compromised, didn't lower the chair as much as he normally would have. and also, you know, when there was time, when sort of a break in the action, and I could be raised up a bit, and then he did that as well. So I appreciate that, because it truly is not good. Okay, I did all that positioning, and then I threw everything down. So I'll just try to reconstruct. What the heck? I haven't cleaned this thing for a while, but usually I'm pretty diligent about putting the cover back on. I bought a, I don't know, 16 ounce or whatever that size is. One of these a long time ago, and then I just keep refilling this smaller bottle, and this is the, it's so filthy I can hardly see. This is a 4 ounce bottle. So it's feeling a bit empty, so it's probably time to top it up a bit. And at that time I would, you know, take it to the sink, take it, the cover all apart, and wash everything out. Oh, I wish I would. I might have to reach for my little, sometimes when I don't have much room for tearing, I just sort of cheat with these things, you know, don't make it, oh, I'm in that really deep. I just want to sort of nibble at it a bit so it's not quite so straight. And I don't like the regularity of that, so I have to go back in. Or maybe I could just chew it. And I think I'm going to shorten this as well. Okay, so then I had this, which is scrapbooking paper. Again, trying to leave some of the more interesting aspects of the paper visible. Maybe I'll put that up here. No, that's going to cover that blue, so maybe I'll take a bit off this side. Move this over. Oh, I could do that too, but I'd have to shorten it a bit, I think. Okay, let's chop it off there. Yeah, if time were not of the essence, I would be using a glue stick for this, just because I can. I think that when I've seen other people do this, I think they do it more, how can I describe it? A little more staggered, like every piece sort of builds on the one before, and goes, you know, from kind of left to right or whatever, and doesn't really, you know, pile up in a sense like I'm doing this. But hey, everybody can do their own thing and should do their own thing. Now I don't like this corner. And I can keep tearing away till there's nothing left. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we'll call that one done as well and throw it to the side. Okay, let's, do we have anything else to use with this? I do have some of these fussy cuts not fussy cuts, die cuts. And you are not going to believe how old these are. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you. These were done with a, what does that say? Oh, way to go. These were done with a Cricut back 100 years ago. And the reason I did some H's, of course, and some G's. And I'll tell you why there are some G's. Because that is the first letter of my grandson's name. Oldest grandson's name. And these fancy dancy little shapes were used for the baby shower. This baby is now 13 years old. So, yeah. Do I know how to hang on to stuff, or do I know how to hang on to stuff? So the parents kind of liked navy and this lime green, so that was sort of the color scheme. Another thing that I have somewhere are the little die-cut onesies. You know, because, hey, doesn't that say baby shower? Anyway, okay, let's see. Maybe that was a good idea, or maybe I should use some blue stuff. These are some strips left over from a Tracy Fox kit that I used the other day. I think I want the one with the most blue on it. And maybe just for the heck of it, we'll preserve the word. If we can. Now maybe that might be a finishing touch. I guess I need some other layers. 2 layers don't make anything. Don't make an anything. I also have here some tea dye doilies, and you know they get pretty badly beat up in that process. I also have some of my digital things that I've kind of printed. Use part of a doily, I guess. Just pulling out bluish stuff. So wallpaper things that I printed kind of tiny. I don't know, however many to a page. I just love this so much. Well, I love all of them, but that cross-stitch one is especially nice. Oh, that's the same. Here's another linen. There's another doily. Oh, this is part of the kitchen wallpaper. Okay, I'll put this aside for the time being and see what I can make out of this. Oh, not an H. See, some of these didn't punch out that well. Yeah, at the time, even to this moment, I do not own a Cricut. I thought to myself, that just seems like, oh my goodness, I don't want to have to to learn how to use that. And instead I've been learning so many other things that are probably harder. Or maybe I should, no, let's just do it like so. This would be kind of cute here. Or like so. We have to get rid of this end. Yeah, I didn't want to have to learn to do that. And so when my daughter and I were making doing those invitations, someone that she knew had a Cricut, and so this person, you know, we provided the paper, and she just cut a million of those things out, and then we had like a little work bee putting together the invitations. And on the little onesie, we had all his names, like, you know, first name, middle name, surname, and length and weight and date of birth and, you know, party details and blah, blah, blah. I think I don't know if people still do that, but what was kind of a trend at the time, of course, there were other new mothers there with their babies. So at one point, there was a photo op where all of these mothers laid their babies down on the floor with all their heads in, like, you know, kind of, they formed a circle with their little bodies with all their heads in the middle of the circle. So there were all these little bodies. It was kind of cute. And of course, they were all babies. So you didn't have to worry too much about, you know, posing or crying or anything like that, because they just, you know, that's about all they did was sleep. They were so, you know, no one could crawl or anything, so. See, at this rate, this is going to end up being half an inch wide by the time I'm done with it. And do I want to slap something blue on top? That's pretty cute. And because there's green, would I get away with some green on there as well? Let's try one of these. Kind of cool when it's layered. If I pull this guy down, you'll see more of the... Okay, that's the plan. I should check the time and see how long I've been at this. Oh, yeah. Clearly this takes longer when you are yakking. Probably get some of this off here as well. Yeah, I think that I will call it a day after this one and get to bed because, you know, there's a dentist waiting for me tomorrow. So early to bed and early to rise, isn't that what how the saying goes? Okay, I think I had the green, yeah, the green one at the bottom, the blue one on top. Is 2 going to be enough, though? What is this? Oh, these are G's. Although you can't really tell. Could use this airy one. I don't know why there's an L. in the name. Okay, enough is enough. Get on with it, woman. So, a little tiny bead of glue, whoops, around these petals. Oh, I think I was going to have it extend past, so I don't need to do. Whoa. Whoa, baby. And then this on top. And do you see how I could have been using anything. I could have been using postage stamps. I could have been using stamped images, stamped fabric, stamped those little vellum things, and stickers and fussy cuts and sentiments and you name it. So at one time I used to overthink, like, oh, what should I use? Oh. And the reality is, use what you got. Use what is within reach. Use what is annoying the heck out of you. Do I want to add a blue liquor ticket to this? Probably not. No. Okay. Let me just show you. Didn't get a heck of a lot done here. Whoops. But, well, 4, plus the ones that I had done before. So, again, use them as they are. Add something when the time is right. Either way, I think they're pretty darn nice. I had fun doing them. I hope you had fun watching, and I hope you try them yourself. Thanks, guys. Good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye.